Welcome back to Book Break. In this video we are talking about book series that we are so invested in, and you're going to want to catch up on the series so far because there are new installments coming soon of all of these. So I have arranged these in order from longest to shortest. So the ones at the beginning of the video are the ones where you have a lot of books to catch up on so far, working all the way down to some where there's only been one book in the series so far, or even some where the series haven't yet started. So kicking off with a series that already has 7 books available for you to read so far, and there are more to come. That's the Invisible Library series by Genevieve Cogman. So these are really fun books, and what's great about these ones is they do work as standalones, so you don't have to have read every book in the series to enjoy them, but it is really fun to go through them all in order and really get invested in the characters that way. We've actually done a whole video focusing on this series before. I will link to that below. We went to Paris back when we were allowed to travel to talk about one of the books in that series, which was set in a Paris library. The series overall is about Irene, who is a librarian in this fantasy world. So her job is to go into alternate realities and find rare copies of books that only exist in those realities and bring them back to this magical library where she works. So she is really a librarian slash spy, and you get these really exciting adventures, each book taking place in a different city, a different time period, so you get loads of different worlds to explore, and there are dragons. The next series I'm going to talk about is The Seven Sisters by Lucinda Riley. So there are 6 books out so far, and book number 7 is coming in May. So you're going to have to read fast to catch up. Basically, in the story so far, we have met 6 sisters, the adopted daughters of the mysterious Pa Salt, who was a billionaire who adopted daughters from all around the world. And each of them have had their own book that focuses on them as they try and track down their own heritage, the mystery of where they came from, as well as finding clues in the ongoing mystery of who was Pa Salt. And in the next book coming in May, it's called The Missing Sister, we are going to meet the 7th sister. Then there's the Witchlands series by Susan Dennard. So there are 3 books out so far: Truth Witch, Wind Witch and Blood Witch, and the 4th book, Witch Shadow, is coming this summer, and there are going to be more to come after that as well. So this series is set in a continent ruled by 3 different empires, where everyone is born with a different witchery, a specific magical skill that sets them apart. And where we meet them in this series, a 20-year truce in a centuries-long war is about to come to an end. And another one for fantasy lovers that also has 3 books you can read so far, with a 4th coming this year, is A Chorus of Dragons by Jen Lyons. So this series combines prophecy and magic and, of course, dragons. In the first book, we meet a young man who discovers that his fate will determine the future of an empire. And you're going to have to read the first 3 to find out why. Book 4, coming this year, finds him and his allies trapped in a demonic prison. For middle grade readers, there's the Adventures on Trains series by M.G. Leonard and Sam Sedgman. So these are really fun. We follow our main character, Harrison Beck, as he solves different mysteries on some of the world's grandest trains. So the series started with The Highland Falcon Thief, then we had Kidnap on the California Comet, book number 3, Murder on the Safari Star, and this year we are getting the 4th in the series, which is going to be called Danger at Dead Man's Pass. Then there's the City Blues Quartet by Ray Celestin. This is a series of novels that again works really well as standalones. Combined, they are plotting the intertwined history of jazz and the mob through 6 decades of the 20th century, but you can dive in to that history wherever you would like. So each book in this quartet is set in a different city in a different decade. We have 3 out so far. The Axeman's Jazz is set in New Orleans in the 1910s. Dead Man's Blues is Chicago in the 1920s. The Mobster's Lament takes us to New York in the 1940s, and there is a 4th book in the quartet coming, which is going to take place in LA in the 1960s. For something a bit more light-hearted, the Brown Sisters series has 2 books out so far, and the 3rd book, Act Your Age, Eve Brown, is coming out literally any minute now. So these books by Talia Hibbert have been really popular on BookTube. I'm sure you've seen them all over the place. They are each romantic comedies, each following the romantic adventures of one of the quirky Brown sisters. The Empire Game series by Charles Stross is a trilogy that is wrapping up later this autumn with the final book. This is a series about paratime travellers who can walk between parallel universes. If you've read the Family Trade series, this is set in the same universe, but it is a whole new generation, so you can dive straight in and start with this one. And then for some epic historical fiction, there is the Burning Chambers series by Kate Moss. So we have 2 books out in that series so far, The Burning Chambers and The City of Tears. This is an incredibly sweeping series covering 300 years of history, taking us so far from Paris to Amsterdam in the series, and who knows where we'll go next. Maybe I know. I don't know. There is still time to catch up on the Children of Blood and Bone series by Tomi Adeyemi so far before the 3rd book comes out. So far we have Children of Blood and Bone and Children of Virtue and Vengeance. Again, I'm sure you've seen these talked about all over BookTube. They have been absolutely massive, and there is a movie adaptation coming as well, so you're going to want to have read the books first. This is a young adult fantasy series based on West African mythology, set in a kingdom that has outlawed magic. The Gilded Wolves series by Roshni Chokshi is an alternate history steeped in fantasy. So there is this incredible heist with clues along the way that our main character and unlikely team of teenagers have to decipher. The Girls of Paper and Fire series by Natasha Nyan is another young adult fantasy. In this world, every year 8 girls are chosen to serve the Demon King. They become the Paper Girls. It's a high honour and also a very cruel fate. But this year 9 girls are chosen. So this is a series that really puts young women at the centre, has a lot of strong characters. There are 2 books out so far, and the 3rd book is coming this autumn. And now for some books that have sequels coming. So you only have 1 book to catch up on so far. So a book I'm really excited about this summer is the sequel to Dear Mrs. Bird by A.J. Pierce. So that first book was about a young woman called Emmy who during the Second World War gets a job working for an agony aunt called Mrs. Bird, who is very strict and doesn't answer a lot of the letters that she thinks are inappropriate. So Emmy decides to start answering some of these letters herself, and it's a really sweet story. Absolutely loved it, and there is a new book coming this summer called Yours Cheerfully, where we're going to follow Emmy onto her new role. You should read The Nightjar by Deborah Hewitt to meet Alice, a young woman who has been haunted all her life by visions of birds, until one day she meets a mysterious stranger who tells her that she actually has a magical talent and she's been seeing nightjars, these miraculous birds that guard our souls. So this book is set in an incredible alternate London where Alice has to hone her talents while being exposed to a dark world of magic and death cults. And the sequel, The Rookery, is coming out this summer. I've talked quite a bit on this channel about a memory called Empire by Arkady Martine, which was a science fiction debut that was so buzzed about. It was award-winning, it won the Hugo Award, it was shortlisted for the Arthur C. Clarke Award. It's a book that balances action with intrigue, and it's all about empire and identity. And the second book, A Desolation Called Peace, is coming this year, so it's the perfect time to catch up. That's been a pretty long list already, so I'm going to finish off here by just giving you a heads up on 3 series that are starting this year if you want to get involved right from the beginning. So first, you may have heard already of the book She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. That's one that's been really buzzed about and highly anticipated on BookTube already. It's been described as Circe meets Mulan. There's also The Library of the Dead coming by T.L. Huchu. That's going to be the first in the Edinburgh Nights series. So this is set in Edinburgh, and it's about a girl who works as a ghost talker. She listens to messages from the dead and passes them on to the living, and that is going to get her involved in a dark otherworldly mystery. And finally, a book you can get right now is Edge of the Grave by Robbie Morrison. This is basically Peaky Blinders in Glasgow. It's a dark historical crime murder mystery set in the 1930s, and it introduces Inspector Jimmy Dreghorn, who we may be seeing a lot more of. So do leave us a comment below letting us know your favourite series, which books are you most highly anticipating, and I will leave a link here to a video we made before on epic series in every genre, so you can click through and have a look at that, and we'll see you next time.